Wait, tell me if you can hear me. Is there any sound? Sounds good. Boom. I think it's just, you know, something happened, dude. Something happened, that's the key. Good to see all of you. What's happening? I'm fresh out of the resurrection vehicle, aka the bed. Does infinity exist in this world? Bro, honestly. You're gonna have to give me some time to warm up. You dudes put it on me quick. Carlitos. What's going on, brother? Fuck all. Just hanging out. You tell me, dude. You give me your thoughts. Because honestly, it's confusing me, the question. What's in the cup? I got coffee in the cup, man. Yeah, I had some mad dreams, dude. I had some mad dreams. What was I dreaming about last night? Dude, last night I was dreaming, right? I had this mate I went to, he was a few years above me in school. We ended up training together for a while. He ended up getting mad big and then taking hell time off and going flipping back and forth through training. He had some awakening back in the day, you know what I mean? I didn't know he had an awakening back in the day. He just fucking vanished for years and I thought, what the fuck? And then later on down the road, I realized he had some like prolific moment in his bedroom, right? He was in my dream and he was coaching these kids in like a yoga studio. They were all crying and shit, and because their parents had them there, and they were like telling him like, no, like you have to stay in here. They were all whining, and I saw him, and I was with my other mate, and he had mad dreadlocks, and I was like, what the fuck, dude? Is that who I think it is? And my mate was like, no way, that's him. And I'm like, dude, that's him, right? And next thing you know, my little cousin, he's a bit of a shit cunt. You know, he's like, he likes to cause mischief. That's what I mean. He comes flying out. Next thing you know, I'm talking to him. Next thing you know, dude, I'm the avatar, bro. And I'm trying to get him to be the next avatar. And I remember because he comes out and I'm trying to build him a stable base. And that looked like, you know, like a big pot of flowers. I like emptied his out and I was like, dude, look, it's time for me to build you a stable base to build your powers off. And he was like, I'm going to bed. I'm like, are you sure you want to go to bed? So boom, I airbended some shit. And he was like just mad, taken back by it. First of all, I grabbed him, I tried flying around the alleyway. But I had heavy legs in my dream. You know when you try and fly around in your dream, sometimes you're a bit heavy? Like I couldn't really make some air time. So I don't think he believed me. When he saw the fucking airbending, he was taken back by it. So then I was in his house and I was like thinking in my head, I was like manifesting these fucking weeds, dude. Like in my head, I was thinking like, I'm just gonna focus on like nice weeds and they're gonna appear. You know what I mean? And they started appearing and I started filling up this pot and then I woke up. It was a bizarre dream. It was the perfect scenario though, because yeah, last night I had work, right? It was meant to be like a full shift, but it ended up only being half a shift in the city. So I ended up eating all my food hell early because I thought like, I'm gonna sleep, wake up 8 p.m, go to work, come back in the morning, you know that? But I got there and it only ended up being 4 hours, which is chill because I get paid minimum 4 hours, it's night shift, get paid the good money. And we were just taking shit out of this gaming shop. These people coming up to me at like 10 o'clock asking me if the gaming shop was open. I'm like, dude, it's 10 p.m, go to sleep. The gaming shop obviously is not open at 10 p.m. You know? So it was a wild dream, you know, it was a wild dream. Do you try to lucid dream on purpose? Yes and no. Yes and no. It really depends on how I'm filming, bro. It really depends on how I'm feeling with the lucid dreaming. I can kind of tell if I'm going to be able to lucid dream. I don't know. It's just something... I don't know if it's for me or for you. Maybe you can comment, bro. But I just know when I'm going to be able to take off. You know, I can really look at my actions throughout the day and see if I've done what I need to do and be in the state of being necessary lucid dream. And then also just literally being in bed, man, like literally just, and it sounds wisely woozy and not true, but it is. I can just feel the energy, man. Like if I start feeling light, if I start feeling tingly, if I start feeling like I'm sinking through the bed, then I'll start the routine per se. That's what I'm trying to say. I'll start the routine. But you know, some days, man, I've just watched the fucking Godfather, and I'm in no state to lucid dream. I mean, practice the lucid dreaming, you know. Or I've been on my phone too much, and it won't work, man. It's too noisy because you need to have a high level of, you need, at least for me, what I found is focus is the #1 key. If you can't focus and you can't have enough, you know, pay attention, you need to have the focus to bear witness. That's the biggest tip, at least for me. And if you don't have the focus and attention to bear witness and the energy to bear witness, then I never was able to do it, you know. But I also respect the practice more now. Before, when I first started lucid dreaming, I was like a little kid who first learned how to beat off. Like I was doing it every day. I was in bed at 3 p.m. In bed at 3 p.m. You know, like multiple nights of the week. And like, yeah, sure, it was fun because it was happening on call. Because I was just so, like, you know, when you're just so disciplined and so you pour out your heart into something, it's just, you know, like I'd sit there at 3 p.m. and sometimes I wouldn't even get to bed till midnight. But I would just keep trying and keep trying and keep trying and keep trying and keep trying. And of course it would work, you know what I mean? So I think it's a great tool. I think it's a great tool if you're approaching it beyond driving around in a Lamborghini and having sex with people. I mean, that's actually okay too. But I'm saying it can provide another dimension to your life other than that. Pete, I never been to Croatia. Shouts to you. Do you ever get sleep paralysis? Shit is scary. But yeah, I do. I mean, I never, you know, I don't know if it's sleep paralysis or not, bro. Like, well, yeah, I mean, I think that's what put me onto, you know, I used to have it a lot when I was younger, and sometimes I still get it. But for me, when people say sleep paralysis, it kind of sounds scary, you know what I mean? But I have had times where I've woken up and thought like shit's mad in my room, and it's like I've been like not been able to move for a while, and then eventually I break out of it, and I'm just like boom, and I jump up, and I'm like, what the fuck? And Jess is like, calm down, there's nothing in the room, you know what I mean? And other times, I've been practicing lucid dreaming, dude, and like what will end up happening is, nothing be working, right? And like I'll get up to go take a piss in the middle of the night, and I'll be like, oh man. You know, I won't get upset about it, but I'll just be like, it's not happening tonight, whatever. I'll get back to bed, and then boom, out of nowhere, I'll just feel like, you know, like someone's pushing down on my chest, man. And I'll be like, oh man, it's happening, eh? And then I'll like open my eye, like I open this eye like this, you know, and you feel like you're glued down. Open this eye, and I'll see something black, like just go boom across the room, and that's it. But that's a key moment, because then I'm just like, that's the key moment. Because in my mind, I'm thinking, keep the heart rate low, keep the heart rate low. We're about to enter the fourth dimension. This is it. This is it. Boom. Keep the heart rate down. Sometimes I can't. The heart's like boom, 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 and then, you know, you get out of it. But usually, I think it's a good sign. I mean, obviously, it can be scary as fuck. You know, black-looking entities rolling around your room. You can't feel like you move. It's freaky. You feel like you're glued down. But I mean, some people can't even. I don't know. For me, when I've experienced it, you know, it's either been when I'm younger or I've been practicing and. I mean, to get to a state to even bear witness to yourself being able to have sleep paralysis, I think is a boom. You know, some people are so asleep, you know, not literally asleep, but, well, literally asleep, but not in that sense. They just hit the sack and they're just like wiped out. They don't even get to go through that stage. And I think it's phenomenal, man. It's quite an empowering experience for people because they're experiencing, you know, it's a mystical somewhat of an experience, you know what I mean? Feeling your body locked down. Even if you don't think it's mystical, it's fucking insane to think that how intelligent your body is, that it's going to lock itself down before you start dreaming. Like it knows, like, yeah, boom, we're about to paralyze you because you're about to enter a different realm. You know, to me, it's crazy. Shouts to you. What are your thoughts on getting stuck doing a job you hate for the rest of your life because you need the money? Matt, it's a tough, we're talking, it's a tough area. And from my experience, take what I say with a grain of salt, brother, because it's different for different people. And I would definitely be doing different things if I was in different scenarios. So I can only comment from within my experience. And, I don't have kids. I don't really have that many responsibilities. So the amount of money I need to survive will be different to the amount of money you need to survive, But, so I don't want you to take what I say and then just always remember what the advice I'm saying is from my experience. For me, bro, it's like, regardless of the money these days, the thing is, I need to make enough money to live, right? I need to make enough money to live. But for me, it's important to, at least enjoy the way I make the money. Enjoy the way the money I make the way I make the money. And it's not worth, I feel like it's disrespectful to me, to my experience as a human being, to be wasting my time for a piece of paper like money. Obviously, it makes the world go round, right? But I feel like I'm disrespecting my experience if I'm gonna allow myself to endure this level of suffering just for some cash. That's what I'm trying to say. So I don't really find myself in a situation anymore, because anytime I start getting into the situation where I feel like my well-being is being put on the line for a pay rise, I don't do it. What I try and do is find jobs, because I'm not really qualified in much other than, being a human being. That often pay less, require more hours, but I find a higher level of contentment within them. That, for me, that's delivering food. For me, that's doing laboring and stuff like that. So practically for you, obviously, we don't live in a world where if you got responsibilities, you can't just drop everything and fucking stare up to the stars and say, God help me. Do that. Definitely do that. But it does require a bit of planning and a bit of a route out. And I don't think it's beyond anyone, depending on what country you live. For me, I would just take some time to find another avenue to make my ends meet. And I would try that, I would try that. Okay, love you, bye. Yeah, that's what I would try, bro. Have an escape plan, because you're not really helpless, man. I think that's it. You're not really helpless. There are some pretty helpless situations out there. And I'm not sure if you're in one of those helpless situations. I'm not trying to say you're trying to sound like a victim. I'm just trying to say that for most of us, you're watching YouTube, I'm watching YouTube, we're on a live stream right now. We have a different avenue of making cash. And you'd be surprised, man. You'd be surprised. Sometimes, I run into people, and I'm only saying I've run into people because I've run into myself in this situation where it's, I've said I want one thing, but then I've given it up for a higher paycheck. And then I'll be there receiving a higher paycheck, feeling a lower level of well-being and thinking like, what am I doing? Here I am on one side of the coin saying, yo, I want to live the highest quality of life regardless of the money. I know that the money can only bring me so much, but here I am giving that up, to earn $25 more per hour. So for me, it's a respect scenario. I've got to have the utmost level of respect for myself, and not like me as in Abdullah. I've got to have an utmost level of respect for life. And I don't disrespect life, because if I disrespect life, life don't respect me. I see a disrespectful representation of life. Yeah, I just see a disrespectful representation of life, you know what I mean? So it's like this fine dance. Like I said, bro, I realize that not everyone can just fucking, boom, throw their hands up and quit their job, We don't live in a world of, let me go pick you potatoes, I give you the potatoes, you give me a bag of rice. It's not like that. It takes a bit of forward thinking, much more than I would like. But it's just the world we live in, isn't it? But it doesn't mean you're helpless. There's always a way. Do I have an intelligent viewpoint of the immigration situation in the US? I need some positive thoughts after listening. Yeah, the immigration dude thing is tough. It's tough, obviously. But, you know, it always comes down to the bottom line here. If people are suffering, if people are going to die, that's the bottom line. That's where, you know, that's the overarching factor. Is that when people's lives are on the line, who are we to deny them the right to live? Who are we to have dominion over another human being? Like, yo, I'm fucking God. You can live, you can't live, because this is my country, this is my space. I pay my fucking taxes with the cash these big honchos are printing in the back, and I'm the one who controls the fucking land. And I think I know it all. You know, so the bottom line is, if people's lives are on the line, all you can do is open your arms to them. That's all you can do, man. You know, it just takes 1 second to have a shred of empathy to think, if you're coming, you know, what kind of state is someone coming over here on a boat who's fleeing a war-torn country where their life's literally on the line? Who am I to deny them? Yeah, we can argue that, like, yeah, the population of immigration, people coming over, some people are faking it. That's not up to you to fucking decide. You know what I mean? To point the figure and say, oh, there's 25, I'm not saying this is you, but there's 20 Arabs, and out of these 2,000 Arabs, there's 20 of them that are going to go and cause mischief, and fuck oath, dude, who cares? I mean, that would happen within any population of people. You know what I mean? There's always lies. There's always people that are going to cause mischief. But the overarching theme of it is people are fleeing a war-torn country where they have no prosperity, and their life is largely suffering. That's all they know. Literally suffering. You know, not some self-inflicted suffering, like literally suffering. So I don't really think about it too much other than that. I think a lot of us like to have some sort of God complex where we like to, like, you know, just have dominion over things that it's not a right for us to. You know what I mean? Imagine someone having the right over your life. Saying, no, Cam, you can't enter, you can enter. It's like, it's a bit backwards, eh? You know, I would never want to do that to you. I would hope, you know, I know that I would want the best for your life, and I'd hope that everyone would want the best for your life. That doesn't mean I don't think there should be controls. But it's easy for me to say that I think there should be controls. But, you know, what the controls look like can be very detrimental to people's livelihood, dude. You know, and that's what a lot of people don't say. They say, don't understand sometimes, and I'm even correcting myself here a little bit, is when they say, I'm for immigration, but there should be some controls. And what controls they say? They just say controls, and controls means a lot of things though, bro. You know, controls can mean, it's like mass incarceration style. Literally. You know, like, I've seen these camps with my own eyes. I mean, they're brutal. I know people who've lived in camps for years as children have come out. It's fucking insane. It's no different to jail, man. It's no different to jail. You know, so I mean, it's a complex there's a complex part of it, I should say, but at the bottom line, you know, as a human you should have respect for life, and I respect the fact that I don't have any right to judge, you know, to call the shots on whose life and where you should be and who should be, and he should be allowed here, and this is my country and I pay my motherfucking taxes or whatever. You know what I mean? So, yeah, food and child, that's what I'm trying to say. You know, shout out to you, said it better than me. It's like, you can come to my country, you can't come to my country. I don't think some people don't realize, it's like, you know, this selfish, you know, that's a form of, you know, that's a form of privilege, bro. You know, I can't just get tripped up on this privilege shit. That's a form of privilege. Being able, you know, this is my country. You can't come into my country. It's like, dude, you're denying someone's right to live. That's essentially what you're saying. You know what I mean? Like, where do you expect them to go? If they've got nowhere to go, where are they going to go, man? They're just going to die in the fucking sea? They're just going to die in the sea? Is that what you want? Sometimes it's easy to form opinions when you're sitting on your couch and you're the furthest person away from the situation. You don't know anyone who's an immigrant. You're the furthest person away from the situation. It's like if I put you on a boat and I told you to look all these people in the eye and say to them, look, I'm rejecting you the right to come into my country. I mean, you probably change your mind. So, I don't know, man. Maybe it's best we stay away from the system of being a consumer and stay true to what we love, what we want and love the most. Don't live so far above what we can afford. We don't get stuck with. Yeah, Matt Fernie. I mean, for me, bro. Honestly, I don't work too much. I mean, I work, but I'm not in this like hustle, suffer fucking mindset. You know, I don't honestly think. I think life obviously, and what I've gathered through my own experience, what I've gathered through other people's experiences. I'm talking extreme experiences. I'm talking, and not so extreme experiences, from family members and friends and myself, is that obviously life has its trials and tribulations. I mean, that's what makes it fucking juicy. But this constant fight of suffering, and it's not even like an innate human suffering, like let's go find where the fucking food's at, sitting in a cubicle for a bit of paper. I don't think that's how it's meant to be. And I think that's why we feel such a level of dissatisfaction with that scenario. It's because it's inhumane to a certain degree. So I think for me and myself and my close friends and my friend circle is like, we try to get closer to something that's more true and more sustainable in terms of level of contentment. And oftentimes that's quite cheap. And it's about having the discipline to not be fucking asleep and heedless like a fucking, walking around blind, to be able to, maintain a high level of quality of life and not get sucked into the tricks of just, and I wouldn't even say tricks, I mean the trappings of just, daily consumerism society, man. I mean, it sounds complex, but it's like, I've realized that like shoes keep my feet warm. I don't need a pair of Nikes, even though they look good. They don't really, I don't feel them when I go to take a piss in the middle of the night, man. You know what I mean? I realize I have desires, but I also realize that feeling those desires doesn't bring me a high quality of life. Oftentimes it negates quality of life. Do you know how much I'd have to work if I wanted to fulfill all my momentary fleeting desires, man, to make me feel a certain level of meaning? I'd be poor as fuck, man. We're rich. We are rich, dude. I consider myself rich, bro. Rich to me means, I don't know what even rich means to me, bro, but I consider myself rich as in, like, I don't need much more than what I got. When people say, oh, that dude's rich, he doesn't need any more money, he's got so much. I feel like that dude. Not purely from the money, I'm just thinking, like, what else do I need, man? I get to drink the coffee, I get to share my life with another person. I got a great friendship, friends, I got the fucking stability not to be a cunt. That's huge. Get to talk to you. I think I'd be putting myself under some sort of hypnosis illusion to think that I need more than that. Work as much as you absolutely need to live in a capitalist, selfish, destroying society. Yeah, 100%. Like, that's just me. I'm not the work. I just do what I want. If I do what I want, it's not work. You know what I mean? Work is like, I don't even like the term work. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know, man. I just don't think that being on floating rock in the middle of space with billions of other humans experiencing what it's like to be alive in the most ridiculous scenario ever. Our destiny was to sit in a fucking cubicle to make, $1,200 a week. To me, it doesn't add up. You know what I mean? It doesn't add up. Yeah, shout out to you, Cam. I mean, Kieran, yeah. I mean, it's true though, bro. It's true though. It's true. That's what I'm saying about asleep. And some people don't even realize they're alive, dude. You know what I mean? They don't even realize they're alive. And that was largely, I'm only saying that because, all I can say is, I'm saying that because I know what that feels like. And I can only assume other people feel the same, man. It's like, some people don't even know they're alive, dude. They're just in, boom, in a state, man. In a state. Let's just call it a state. They don't even know they're alive, man. And, you know, you think that's impossible to not know that you're alive, but I really mean it, man. They're not experiencing the full vastness of what's going on inside. And it really is a miracle and a certain level of magic when you honestly realize that you're alive. You know, I used to say that and not really know what it meant until I actually felt like what it was like to be alive. Like, you know, it's fucking insane, bro. You know, the moment I think it's not insane, I know I'm doing something wrong. You know, I know I'm doing something wrong, largely through my own actions. And I take a step back and I just analyze what I'm doing and what would allow me to feel such a level of desensitization. It's like walking around with a condom on the whole time. Do you know what I mean? Touching things and not getting the full sensory experience. That's what it's like. You know, I'm not going to do that to myself. Shouts to Malik. It's a beautiful name, Malik. Where are you from, bro? What does Malik mean? Why do I think Malik means king? Yeah, Kieran, I mean, we've made it extremely hard. We made it extremely difficult, bro. I mean, we made it extremely difficult. Yeah, look, bro, you know, quickly on that work topic is, bro, honestly, I think as long as you're enjoying what you're doing and it has no fucking impact on other people in a negative way, you know, there's no one out there that can tell you otherwise. Just because it's work doesn't mean it's necessarily a bad thing. I mean, all I can wish for you is that you enjoy what you do, and that's it. If it's called work, if it's called whatever it's called, you know, I'm happy for you, G. You know, so shout out to you, brother. I mean, some people literally go to work every day. It's like, it's an uplifting experience. It's like the best thing in the world for them. And it's like, I'm a fucking nobody, dude. You know what I mean? And I just wish the best for you, man. Matt Fernie, I mean, shouts to you, brother. I mean, I stopped saying, yeah, let me go back to, well, caught myself reaching my phone. It's scary how hard it can be to be in the moment. Yeah, I mean, that's what I'm saying, bro. I mean, you know, I think that's a large part of, you know, our work in this generation at least, you know, is you have to really remove yourself from the senses to a little bit, you know. And obviously you're a slave to the senses. Like, this is the reality you live in. We don't live in another reality. We can argue here about parallel realities and dream realities in which we occupy. But I'm saying we're a slave to it to some degree, you know what I mean? And sometimes you have to withdraw, man, to find something more meaningful and to really feel that feeling like I'm talking about, which is the magic, bro. The magic is in the presence, man. That's where it's at. You know, it's not in on you. It's not in on your phone, dude. It's not in on your phone. You know, I'm not saying don't sit on your phone. I'm not saying don't go on Instagram. I'm just saying that, you know, there is something messed up about eating a meal, being on your phone, while listening to the TV at the same time. You know what I mean? Like, there's just something evil about it, man. You know what I mean? I just look at it and just think, like, you know, that's what I mean by desensitized. It's like you would need something extremely severe to rock you, bro, to make you feel something. You know, the basics don't make you feel anything anymore. You know, the basics don't make you feel anything anymore. Like, you know, life, you know, the standard presence of life doesn't make you feel anything anymore. You know what I mean? Food doesn't make you feel anything anymore. You know, basic human connection doesn't make you feel anything anymore. You know what I mean? Nothing, man. Nothing. It's lost all meaning. Literally, you could be on your phone scrolling through Instagram, having sex and eating a meal at the same time with the TV on in the background, you know, while your mum's fucking sending you SMSs, you know, from 10,000 feet, and it would be like, you'd be like, it's nothing, dude. It's just life, you know what I mean? It's no big deal. That's the response, you know what I mean? And then cunts will be coming out saying they're sad. It's like, dude, I just walked through the mall and I saw you on the VR headset with the biggest smile on your fucking face I've ever seen in my life. And you're coming at me asking me why you're sad. We can chase distraction or instant comfort of all time fucks you up. Yeah, I mean, yeah, of course, bro. I mean, because you're so stemmed up on it, man, and that's all you know. I mean, it can be quite confronting to confront yourself largely, to sit there and say, well, you know, I'm not, you know, because, I mean, human foundation is built on complete unknownness. That's what it's built on. And that's what's so amazing about humanity to a certain degree, is that we've operated off really shaky foundations in terms of origin story. Like, we don't fucking know shit. And we've actually come pretty far. And that's why, you know, I have such a strong, you know, admiration for just like humans in general, is the level of suffering we've been able to offset, you know, in our condition. You know what I mean? The terminal nature of life. Where are we going? Where do we come from? You know, we have theories and hypotheses, and I believe in something, you believe in something, whatever. We've actually come pretty far considering that thing. You know what I mean? We laugh about girls having daddy issues. I mean, we have the biggest daddy issues of them all. And I think that's amazing what we've been able to achieve. You know what I mean? But at the same time, bro, you know, for a large part of the population, we really don't know who we are. And I don't think that we need to know who we are, essentially. I mean, but we really haven't even touched the surface of who we are. We haven't done any exploration in terms of internal, you know? So to withdraw from the senses and channel your energy into something else and put the boots on and go for a walk inside is quite confronting. But that's all you know. Oh, you know, that's all you got, man. That's all you got. I mean, this is the space in which you operate in. You know, it doesn't feel like this is the space in which you it doesn't feel like this is the space in which you operate in, because all you know is the seen reality, and you think the seen reality is separated from you, but it's really not. It's really not. There's a level of oneness in that you haven't really come to terms with yet. You know what I mean? Even from just a scientific standpoint, it's there really is no separation, man. So, I mean, I think if you don't do that inner exploration, you're always going to have trouble. For sure. So, like I said, man, it can be good to get away from the fucking TV, away from the phone. I'm not saying you have to do it all the time. I mean, it can just be good, man. I mean, I'll be the first one to tell you that sometimes I don't like the sound of my own voice in my own head because it can be confronting. But ultimately, it's a voice you have to confront because you live with it. There's no escaping it. I mean, tell me how you can escape it. I mean, you can distract it. You can put the tiger to sleep, but the tiger's always going to wake up. And if I'm going off my own experience and only hinting that you might have the same, fuck, man. Shit. I mean, the tiger can be quite noisy and loud and debilitating. And as much as you want to run and hide, I mean, it's like you live there and it lives with you. And you have to learn how to tame it. You have to learn how to silence it. You have to learn how to still it. Essentially, for me, it's like I have to learn how to still it to the point where I have the clarity to be able to see. And that's where it's at. And that's what all the training's for. That's what all the practice is for. Being able to have the clarity, being able to have the stability, the clarity, the discipline, to be able to roundhouse kick the tiger in the fucking head, put it to sleep, so I can have the silence to be able to absorb and experience everything and remove the condom in which I'm experiencing life through, and be able to touch and feel everything to the highest degree. Ultimate reality type of shit. You know what I mean? That's where it's at for me. You know, and I felt it briefly. I mean, I feel it quite a bit sometimes, but once you get a brief, once you open the door for a brief fucking second, that's all you need, dude. That's all you need. You need a brief second of that experience, and then that's all you need, man. You'll never turn back. You'll never turn back once you experience that for a brief second. I mean, I'm sure a lot of you have experienced it. I mean, that's why we're on the stream. You just need to peep. You just need to feel what it's like for all the burdens to be lifted off your shoulder for a brief amount of time and experience the magic. And that's enough for a lifetime. You know, and just experiencing that for a brief second, I know there's more. And now I don't stop, man. We wake up every morning and the first person we have to talk to is the target. You know, shout out to you, man. I mean, I love, bro, honestly, man, stop talking about the morning, because I love the morning. I love the morning. People say I'm not a morning person. I say, fuck you. That's what I say to them, fuck you. It's so bad, I'm not a morning person. What the fuck, man? I'm not a morning person. Now, I know a lot of you are going to get upset because you're not morning people. I mean, I'm not a morning person. What does that even fucking mean, dude? That's what I'm saying, you're desensitized. And I know that because I've been not a morning person before. You know what I mean? Desensitized, like, yeah, I just walked out of, you know, I've just got out of bed, I'm not a morning person. You know, like, I'm just a human. I'm not a morning person. I'm a vessel for life. I'm not a morning person. I mean, this is essentially the level of appreciation that statement comes with. You know, I think if you readdress the idea of the morning, it can be quite powerful. And that's why I think, I said this in my last stream, it's something that I've been thinking about a lot lately, is about the correlation, bro. The correlation between cunts who love the morning, they value the morning, and the quality of life, man, and the differences, you know, because there is something to it, bro. You know, waking up in the morning, you get to receive the energy of the sun rising. Now, just the act of the sun rising will put you in your fucking place, and you'll think, my God, the sun's rising. What's going on? This big, heated, fucking globe in the middle of space is providing me with life. I mean, that is something that logically you really can't compute. That's the first step, man. That's one of the first essence and the beauties of the morning, is seeing the transition from night to day. It's magical. And that's a beautiful essence of the morning. And, you know, partially a reason to get up. Don't look at me because I woke up late today because I had work last night. You know what I mean? But I enjoyed it. You know what I mean? And I didn't make more than I need to. But you know what I'm trying to say? That's an essence, a beautiful essence in the morning. And bro, you know, whether you believe in religion or you don't believe in religion, I mean, we can peel it back. We can peel back the onion to religion, and we can say that God's the one who brings the fucking, who changes from night to day, and from day to night, and brings the stars out. If you're a religious person, fuck with that. That's your belief. Then you need to be up early. You need to be up early. I don't see any religious practices that say, yo, wake up at 12 p.m. and feel the magic. No. Even beyond that, dude, even if you don't believe in any religion, I mean, believe in, you know, at least bearing witness to one of the biggest miracles, the sun coming up. You know, and almost like the resurrection aspect that can provide for you. And I think that's why the morning routine is key, because it literally is a resurrection. Now that I think about it, it's a resurrection. It's a resurrection. And I want you to practice this. I want all of you to practice it, because I'm practicing it right now, and all I'm doing is sharing my practices with you, and it might fucking, you might enjoy it, okay? I want you to think about the morning as a resurrection. Okay? Now, we get clued in to signs of dimensions beyond this reality all the time. Now, for a minute, go with me and assume that your dream reality is another actual real reality that you occupy when you sleep and you leave. Let's say you leave. Let's say you leave when you go to sleep, and that is the basis of the resurrection, that you've left and you've come back. So you need to treat it like that. Like, wow, I've returned. Who guaranteed you that you would return? No one did. But luckily, you returned. I mean, seriously. And if you got someone sleeping next to you, it's like, what the fuck? I mean, a loved one, not some, you know what I'm trying to say. You got a loved one sleeping next to you. You got a loved one in the house with you. I mean, you've all been resurrected. It's even more amazing. You know, you went into sleep paralysis, and a piece of you vacated. A piece of you vacated, and you could have easily died in your sleep, but you came back. To me, that sounds like a resurrection. and you wake up. You know what I mean? And that's why I think those first few things, those first few thoughts, I mean, those conscious thoughts that you're in control of, and that routine is so essential. And it's not like you have to get up and start reciting lines in Sanskrit. It's not like you have to pick up the Quran and start reciting. I mean, do that if you want. But everything needs to be a celebration. I want the first 5 things to be a celebration straight away. And it's not like you have to sit there and say, I'm celebrating, I'm celebrating, I'm celebrating. I mean, if the tiger's noisy, then you will. Because it's going to be weird for you. You know what I mean? You're not going to be out. You're going to go for your phone. You're going to go for some sort of distraction. You don't want to hear the sound of your voice in your own head because, I mean, you're trying to drown it out because it's too chaotic, you know? But everything needs to, those first 5 things need to be a celebration, man. Whether it be pissing and realizing that it's fucking insane that you're pissing. Pissing can be a celebration, dude. Go drink a cup of water. That's a celebration, you know? Where would we be without water? I mean, to us it's just disrespect, you know, we just disrespect water all the time like it's nothing. You know what I mean? I drink Coke. It does the same thing like water. It can still hydrate me and sustain life. It's like, can't drink some water. Drink a bit of water, man. Go for a walk, man. You know, have a, you know, cold shower. I'm not saying there's things we can talk about that can be staples for us. Like, you know, obviously drinking a cup of water, going to the toilet. You know, a few words to yourself. You know, that can be common. You can have a cold shower. I mean, you could go for a jog. You know, for me, it's literally a few words of celebration. Going to the toilet. You know what I mean? Having a bit of stretch at the back. Making sure the first thing I consume is water, not food. Water. Getting out of the house as quick as I can relative to the day. Like today, I don't have to train, so I didn't go train, right? But if I'm training, I'm boom. Out of the house training. There shouldn't be this time of separation where you just sit down and you're just sucking on your thumb. No. Boom. It should be quick. It should be fucking fast. It should be swift. And that really sets up the foundation for the day. You know, personally, I like to remind myself that I don't know what's going on. You know, I don't really like to, you know, I like to say to myself, you know, I got my own little mantra I recite in my head. You know, it's a bit of Quran, it's a bit of my own little personal salutes, man. For my own personal family, for my extended family, for the whole nation as a whole. You know what I mean? I'm doing those salutes at the same time. And I tell you what, man. I tell you what. Even if you don't believe in it, you start to believe in it because you start to see the benefit, man. You start to see the benefit. And that's what I'm saying sometimes. It's like, you might not believe. I mean, you might not believe and you don't really need to believe. What you need to do is, dude, is let the actions cultivate your belief. Because you'll see the reward. And the reward will like clue you in on the belief. You know what I mean? And the biggest thing is once you start believing, it's not believe it. You know, people say believe, achieve. It's believe, perceive. Believe, perceive. That's the biggest thing for me. Believe, perceive. You know, but that belief doesn't have to be there at the start. You just have to have blind fucking, you know, just a level of blindness in the sense that I'm not sure, but I'm gonna try. I'm gonna try and see what happens. And the actions will do what they need to do. The rewards will be there. The rewards will fucking cultivate the belief. And the belief will let you perceive. You know, we're talking about magic. We're talking about things that, you know, are really beyond the perception of you currently. You know, but the belief unlocks the door. What are your thoughts on social media and how it influences? You know, I think social media is just social media. You know, I think that humans, you know, obviously I think social media is just a tool, bro. I mean, I think obviously, you know, it can be beneficial and it can be non-beneficial. I think largely a lot of us are cunts. That's not what I mean. I mean, largely a lot of us are just in pursuit for meaning. We're trying to search for something, and oftentimes we don't really go about it in the most beneficial way and what's beneficial to our other human being counterparts or whatever you want to, you know, other people. And you know, social media it can go from being a tool to being a weapon. And I don't think people intentionally use it as a weapon. I think, you know, people are just doing what people do. And I mean, I don't think social media is largely I mean, it's hard to say. It's hard to say whether I think social media largely has increased people's quality of life or decreased. I can only speak for myself that, you know, after long amounts of use and serious levels of discipline and practice and going on and off social media, on and off social media, on and off social media, that, you know, I'm only coming to a stage now where I can have some level of discipline with it and it affects my life in a positive way. But like I said, I think largely the sickness of social media is desensitization, just another form of desensitization. You know, I mean, on a basic level, that desensitization stems from the fact that you are investing so much time and energy in other people's lives, and you're already, I mean, and largely other people are already victims, bro. You know, they don't see that they have all the jewels already. And social media, all people know is numbers. They go on social media, they see these dudes with the big numbers, and they see them, and they automatically think big numbers correlate to quality of life. And they do the biggest disservice and disrespect to themselves is when they shift their eyes from their own situation to somebody else's and assume that that life is better than theirs. And when in reality, that's not even it's disrespectful because it's not even a reality, man. It's not even a reality. All you know is your reality. This reality that you're investing yourself in is made fucking up. It's made up. You're making it up. It doesn't even exist. And that's where the act of disrespect comes in. And that's where you lose all forms of humility. And that's when you become arrogant. Sitting there thinking that you're not in the best situation possible. You know, there is no other situation to be in. I mean, show me the other situation that you could be in right now. It doesn't exist. You could say, yeah, I could be 100 meters down the street, but you're not. It doesn't exist. You could say, I could be like this chump on Instagram with all the honeys off the boat doing backflips. It doesn't even exist. So, I think that's the biggest disservice from Instagram, is that it allows you to be disrespectful to your own life. Apart from that, I mean, connecting with friends, like, when I go on Instagram, dude, I'm like scrolling through. You know, I'm not on the explore. I don't do the explore, dude. I'm on there and I'm finding my friend. I'm finding the people I know. Like, I'm finding up my mate and I'm saying, what is my mate doing? I'm on Instagram and I'm looking at what my mate's doing. This is the power of it. I get to see how my mate's doing halfway across the world beyond sending him a message. Debate whether it's good or bad or not. I like that level of connectivity. Oh, he's doing well. He looks happy. He's having a good time. Boom. Salute. But I'm not on the stories going next. I know, I've done it before. I've done that before. But, you know, I stop myself. I try to, at least. I mean, seriously, dude. Go on Instagram and be swiping across and just keep telling yourself, I'm on Instagram. You do that enough times, you're going to be like, fuck, I'm sick of this shit. Boom, put the phone down. I don't need this, eh? What are my thoughts on plant medicines? I mean, shouts to plant medicines. I think, definitely, dude, I'm for plant medicines over some traditional medicines. I mean, pharmaceutical products, for sure. I think it'd be a phenomenal world to live in if we invested all our time and energy in exploring things that grow from the ground and trying to, I think they have a place in society, man. I think they would have a big place in society. And I think there's just very few people, few versus the majority, that explore these alternative medicines that are completely natural and can be profound for people and really revolutionize their life. I mean, all you got to do is go to the fucking hospital and go for a walk, man. You know what I mean? And see what some of the pharmaceutical products do to people. I mean, we can go to the hospital and I can show you fucking 75-year-olds that they're just addicted to things like endone. They're addicted to all sorts of painkillers, man. And they're not even in pain anymore. They're just addicted. They are addicted for years and they end up dying, man. Not in a I'm sick, fix sort of medicine. I'm thinking spiritual awakening sort of medicine. I mean, to me, it's the same thing. I mean, it's a sickness. To be spiritually suppressed is a sickness. You know what I mean? And it can be a tool for awakening. I think it can be a tool for awakening. I think your actions can be a tool for an awakening too. You know, I don't think you need to go to the Amazon to be awakened. I think you just need to go to your bedroom and see what you're doing incorrect. You know what I mean? Like, what I'm trying to say is there's oftentimes things right in front of you that are fucking you up. You don't even see. You know what I mean? So, you know what I mean? Like, you got your headphones on while you're on the phone, eating lunch while the TV's on, while you're sending a text. I'm not saying this is you, but then your next rational thought might be like, yo, let's take a trip to the Amazon, hit the mother up. And there's nothing wrong with that. I would never tell you to not do anything that you feel like you need to do. That's not my place. What I'm trying to say is that there's a few things that you can start the wheels moving earlier than that. You don't have to go all that way. I'm saying, God, you know, if you happen to be out there and some dude in the jungle comes out and he says, boom, we're about to go into the ceremony, dude, I would hold hands with you and I would go in there and we would have a revolutionary experience. I'm not anti anything like that. But I'm just trying to say, like, from my own experiences, sometimes I look so far beyond what's currently in front of me to add some quality of life when there's a multitude of things that I can address every day that are going to allow me to be experiencing a level of peace and contentment, you know? And I address those things first. And then, like I said, man, there's plenty of stuff out there that, you know, that can do some wild stuff. And I'm not anti it, bro. I'm all for it. You know, I'm all for it, bro. I'm all for it. In the right scenario, I think there's a right tool for every scenario, man. And sometimes it's not the right tool, you know what I mean? But if it's not the right tool, you'll find out. If it's not the right tool, you'll find out. And it'll probably still be a beneficial experience. Like, even if you went into an experience like that and you had complete and utter disrespect for it, you would just get a cosmic knockout. You would just get a cosmic knockout. And at least you would come out of it being knocked out by the cosmos. And that could be extremely beneficial, you know? So I feel like social media makes you do a lot more things other than people, for other people, and things that you aren't true to yourself and try to impress them. Yeah, I mean, like I said, Matt Fernie, I think it desensitizes you. It separates you from the truth. And I think, like I said, man, humans just do what humans do, you know? Like, you know, this pursuit for meaning can take shape in many forms. And external validation through social media is one of them. You know, you finally feel like, I'm good enough. Like, I'm not good enough until you give me enough likes for my photo. Finally, your validation is going to allow me to accept my life for what it is. You know, oh, my life's beautiful now. Because a bunch of people on the internet said so. It's really kind of backwards. You know what I mean? And when I say separation, it separates you from the driver's seat. You're not in control anymore. You know what I mean? These external factors that don't really even exist are allowing you to enter a state of gratitude. It should be the other way around, bro. You should be in a state of gratitude all the time. You shouldn't be waiting for other people to salute you for finally for you to salute yourself. I mean, you know what I mean? Matt, you know, I've definitely done that, bro. I've definitely done that. And not even consciously, like, been on there like, yo, I need to validate my life. But I've definitely done it, bro. And as you can see with my YouTube career, bro, and my uploading of videos, I'm very infrequent, bro. And I'm infrequent because I want to be infrequent. And it's nothing to do with hard work and discipline. It's just, I got to check myself. And sometimes the best thing I can do is just, boom, abandon it for a while. And I think that even sends a stronger message to you as well. You know, because people say, upload a video. It's like, dude, I don't want to upload a video, man. I don't feel like I'm in a spot where I can healthfully upload a video. And it be healthy for me, i.e. healthy for you also. Bro, honestly, I'm all for people coming to my channel, seeing it and saying, what the fuck, this cunt hasn't uploaded in 3 months, and they go, maybe I should go for a walk or something. You know what I mean? This dude's not uploading. Maybe there's something else going on outside. Maybe there's a conversation I could be having. Maybe, you know, fuck it, maybe there's a book I could be reading. Maybe there's a note I could be punching in. You know what I mean? What do I do for a living? I do a multitude of things. You know, I sell t-shirts. I mean, let me do it in ranking. lately I've been doing a lot of construction because I started training back on the bike, so I haven't been doing the Uber as much. And it's been extremely cold. I've been dependent on the construction a bit too much, you know what I mean? So I've been doing construction, I've been doing Uber, and oddly I've been selling some t-shirts, which is weird. Shouts to everyone who's been buying t-shirts, man. I mean, that's some serious, I don't know how, but they have. So shouts to all of you. So I've been making a meet, man. I've been making the ends meet. You know, last month during the month of Ramadan, I really knuckled down on everything, and I had a really good month. You know, in terms of my own practice, in terms of work, in terms of saving money, which set me up great for the next couple months. But like I said, you know, I'm starting to train a bit more. I'm started training on the bike, and I don't think I'm gonna have. Well, I do have a lot of time to work, but it's not like I really want to go to work and spend all my time there while I'm trying to train at the same time. So, you know, I do probably a few more months of really trying to set up myself to be able to just relax more. And that's what I'll be doing. Fuck, I feel like it's been a good stream, mate. Shouts to you, Gabe. Shout out to you, boom, boom, boom. Let's keep it rolling for a while. You know, see, like I gotta call the construction people today and ask them if there's work tomorrow. Or just try and hunt down some work tomorrow. I mean, that's the you know, the only down for us. It's not consistent, but I like it like that, man. That's what I like about it. You know. Shout out to you, Will. I appreciate it. I'm feeling juiced up, bro. I'm feeling juiced up, to be honest with you. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie to you, I feel juiced up, you know. I don't know why I feel juiced up. I mean, I'm always feeling juiced up, but I feel more juiced up today, for sure. You know, last night was just epic for me, bro. Like, last night I had a moment when I was walking home and I just thought to myself, like, there's no words for this. I tried to put words to this. I was trying to put words to it. There was no words for it, man. Like, I was just walking home. It was like after work. Just like no one on the street. Very safe. I had such a level of safety walking on this street, man. It's just like very few places in the world you can do this kind of shit. You know, so fortunate to be like that. I was slipping on this Slurpee in complete silence, and I was just like, this is fucking it, man. I couldn't even explain it, but that was it. Like, I was just like, this is what I work for, man. You know, just walking down the street so slowly with the boots on, with Slurpee in the hand, just thinking like, I feel like I'm busting a nut 24/7. Like, I couldn't put words to it, man. I was trying to put words to it when I was walking, and I was just like, boom, stop, dude. Do you recommend any books, audiobooks that you have digested recently? You know, Morsa, shout out to your beautiful name, by the way. I don't really read, you know, the books I read, bro. I don't really, you know, I say I don't read books, but I read stuff online. To me, that's the same thing. You know, I know people are going to say it's not a hardback book, but, you know, sometimes I'll think of something and I'll just do some investigation online. I'll start reading up on it. I do a lot of reading like that. You know, I've been reading the Quran lately. I like reading religious books. I'm a fan of religious texts. You know what I mean? I think I love that type of reading. I don't know, you know, not just as a blind belief, but like even as just an investigation tool. I think religious books, man, honestly, like, I would love to read every single religious book out there. And, you know, if I'm going to have a goal, I mean, surely that's a goal of mine. So, yeah, apart from that, right now I'm reading the Quran, man. Right now I'm going through the Quran. I'm doing a read through. I mean, it's been great. It's been great, man. It's been great, you know, like something I read when I was younger, but, you know, every time you come to it and you revisit it, you're coming at it with a new lens, a new experience. Things mean different things to you, you know. stuff means different things to you at the right time, wrong time. Sometimes shit you don't understand, sometimes finally you understand. It's like, it's just interesting to come back and read something after so long and see different things. I mean, you're just seeing a reflection of your experience and absorbing that, you know, which is cool. And I'm really enjoying it, bro. I'm really enjoying it. Do you think that the internet has made literally every accident in life is perceived as new craze, e.g., even things like meditation are now almost seen as a fad and become devalued? Yeah, 100%. I completely agree with you. I mean, we're just so saturated on the internet, bro. We're so saturated on the internet, and I'm trying to think. Meditate. I can see what you mean. People say like, oh, you're doing yoga, you just meditate, and self-help, and self-help and self-mastery, whatever you want to call it. Religion, self-mastery, self-belief, anything. It's almost become, people look to it as a fad. I mean, this isn't a fad. This isn't a fad, man. You know what I mean? This definitely isn't a fad. I mean, but people perceive it as a fad, like you said, which is kind of sad. But, I mean, if you want to be a backseat driver your whole life, be a backseat driver. I mean, it's no fad in being able to develop the tools to be able to steer yourself through life correctly and the way you want to. That's not a fad to me. I mean, it seems like the logical move, but I definitely understand what you mean. I mean, Luke, what you're trying to say, like what you're saying is like the power of the internet. Like right now, it's so empowering. Like you can literally just fucking go on the internet and just boom, you could just type in like the easiest, literally easy meditation technique, and you probably get something that's pretty good. Like to me, that's amazing. You know what I mean? It's not really treated that way. It's like, oh, it's just meditation, it's just a fucking fad. You know what I mean? And that's with everything. Meditation, with everything, man. How has your training in the gyms changed over the years? I mean, it's changed. It's changed dramatically. The thing that stayed consistent is the discipline and the effort. That's the only thing that stayed consistent. I mean, outside of that, a lot of stuff's changed. Obviously, I've changed exercises. Obviously, I've changed rep schemes. Obviously, my focus has kind of changed. Bodybuilding, powerlifting, weightlifting, powerlifting, bodybuilding, accompanying it with cycle. I mean, it's, I've changed, to a certain degree. Obviously, I've changed, and that's been reflected in my weight training. But what has stayed consistent is the discipline, and that's how I've always wanted to be. I don't get caught up in the minutia, like, oh, the rep scheme's changed, or the output or the desired end goal of my training, whatever goal, what I'm trying to say, is change. It's just the application of discipline over time is the that's the juice of the training, is the discipline over time, and that magical process of maintaining that discipline over time, and changing at the same time. And I think that's what's so, I keep saying time, you know what I mean? But the discipline over time implemented is what I love about it, especially how you're also at the same time, outside of that, changing as a human being, changing as a person, having new desires, having new goals, meeting new people. And it's just this pillar. It's just a fucking pillar, man. It's something that stays so consistent, and that's what I love about it. It's like a frame, it's like a point of reference, per se. That's what I love about it. And I think that's why it's such a valuable tool, is that you consistently always do it, regardless of how you feel, regardless of what's going on outside of it. It really is a point of reference, and you're really able to observe yourself through that act of being there, regardless of outside changes. But like I said, it's changed a lot. You know, the details have changed a lot. I mean, in terms of reps, bodybuilding, powerlifting, weightlifting, whatever it is, that's changed. That's changed for sure. But hey, you know what I mean? I still train, man. That's the key point for me. Do I love training? I mean, sometimes. You know, sometimes I feel like I can't be fucked on. Sometimes, you know what I mean? It's just, it is what it is. I mean, you do it consistently enough. I mean, gone are the days of watching Kai Green videos and having a mad rush of endorphins and going doing curls until my eyes bleed. It's a bit different than that now. But, you know, what I do love is the way training allows me to perceive life. Sam, let's see. Hey Abdullah, what do you mean by discipline if you're changing? What are your plans? What your plans are over time? What I mean by discipline, dude, is like, is the discipline and the commitment that you've made to yourself, that you will keep training. And that applied over time. Like, if training is a discipline, you just apply that every day for a long period of time. You know? And that's really where the magic is. And what I said by you changing is, it's like, oftentimes people change and they assume that, you know, like, you might want to be a bodybuilder, bro. And so you start training to be a bodybuilder. I'm just trying to think of something very practical, right? And then that motivation that you had to be a bodybuilder was rooted in something so far outside of you, it was fleeting. Gone are the days of you watching Kai Green getting G'd up. They've left you. You know what I mean? Now you don't want to be a bodybuilder. And now you look at training like, why would I train? It's hard for you to train, so you give up training. I mean, that's a real common scenario for a lot of people. You know what I mean? But that's not where the magic of training is. The magic of training is losing that desire to be a bodybuilder, but still training, still rocking up, and continually rocking up. You know? What do I mean by what I do love how training? Okay, what I do love is how training allows me to perceive life. Yeah, for sure, bro. Because the training is just an application of focus, and I think the focus is the ticket to be able to perceive life on the highest level. You know, training provides me with a platform to be able to still my internal space, literally through just the application of focus, doing a set and focusing entirely on that set. That allows me to perceive life on a different level. It allows me to enjoy life more, man. It allows me to be here. So when I'm doing the dishes, I have the skill to be able to just do the dishes, you know? Because for years, every set has been my whole world. When I do my first set, that's the only set I'm ever doing in my whole life, and that's my whole reality. And then when I move on to the next rep, it's also my first rep and my last rep. There's nothing beyond it, and there's nothing before it. This consistency of just pouring your heart out and everything into every single set is where it's at. And that application of focus, man, you know, you carry that over. You carry that over, for sure. And that's what I was trying to say. And I think people experience that, dude. I think people experience that, like, maybe you've experienced it. I mean, you don't train for a while, and your mind's just a clusterfuck. And when your mind's a clusterfuck, you don't enjoy anything, man. You don't enjoy, you know, tell me on what level you're perceiving life. I mean, everything seems desaturated because your mind's a clusterfuck. It's split. It's completely split. It's noisy, it's split. You can't even be anywhere anymore. Like, you're on the couch, but you're thinking about this, you're thinking about that. You know, you lose a lot of respect for life, man. So that's what I was trying to say, if that made any sense, bro. Sometimes I say shit means no, it doesn't really make sense, but I think that made sense, bro. I mean, that is why I train. You know, in a simplistic way, just think about what I said as the training allows you to develop the tools tools to be able to enjoy shit. Training allows you to develop the tools to be able to enjoy shit. It doesn't need to be training fucking like in the gym. It can be anything. It could be running. It could be sweeping. It could be... The key point of it needs to be the consistency, the focus for a long period. It can't just be wishy-washy. It needs to be consistent for a long time. It can't be 1 month here, motivation dies, 1 month off, 1 month back. It can't be like that. What do I do in my free time? I do a multitude of things. I sit on the couch, I watch a movie, I relax, I go for a walk, talk to my girlfriend, see some friends, go to the supermarket. Go for a bike ride. Free time from what? You mean just time when I'm not, working? Is that what you mean? I'm just trying to think of the concept of free, yeah. And so I think, what we're talking about in training is, it's kind of the evolution of it's kind of the end I don't want to say the end destination, but it takes, and that's why I'm saying you've got to be there for a long time. It takes several years. Old time should be free. Adam, that's what I was kind of thinking of, this whole notion of free time. And it's not to poke, I forgot who asked, it's not to poke finger at anyone who said it. It's just, it's an interesting concept of, what do you do in your free time? I'm already feeling the level of, that doesn't sound right inside of me, you know what I mean? I have some time that's not free, and I have some time that is, what's my other time? What defines free time versus not free time? I think that's what we need to define. It's interesting. I haven't really thought about it, but now that I'm thinking about it, it's an interesting concept. Yeah, like I said, Answer, it's kind of like you need to be there for a long period of time to even learn these things, to really get into the kung fu of it. To get into the kung fu of it, you have to be there for a long time, and witness, and bear witness to the stages, man. Because they are pretty common stages for a lot of people, man, and it's just having the discipline. Literally, it's just discipline to say, I'm going to come back regardless. That's all it is. Think about how many times, the first stage of people is, people just get motivated the source of the motivation is fleeting. They want to get, I'm thinking of something so simple. They want to get jacked because they think being jacked is going to, I don't know, give them some sort of meaning in other people's eyes. And then eventually they get over it and they stop lifting. They want to be a bodybuilder. Eventually they think bodybuilding's fucking wank. And they don't want to do it. They give up the idea of being a bodybuilder, so they give up the training. And they don't move on. They don't realize that there's an evolutionary process to it. But you just have to keep sticking with it. If you told me 8 years ago or whatever, it said you can train for anything other than big biceps and like a defined pec, I would have laughed at you. I'd have said you're a fucking clown. Now I'm the clown. It's just taken fucking that many years to realize, that there is more to training than having a bicep vein or having a split quad. I literally used to think the dudes were joking when they said, if I didn't make any muscular progress, I would keep training. I used to think that was fucking ridiculous. The opposite of free time would be paid time or earned time. I think old time is free. I don't know, man. It's an interesting concept because all you got is time. You're gonna have to let me think about it. I don't think there's free time and then pay time, and this separation of time. I don't think it's really a thing. I mean, it becomes a thing for you because, I mean, you go to work and then you earn a certain amount of cash for that amount of time. You know what I mean? But I don't like the concept of free time and then paid time. I mean, you can choose to do what you want with your time. There's not, you know what I mean? Well, there's people that say that time doesn't exist, so time is time. Well, bro, there's people that say that time doesn't exist, but I mean, time's a tool that we use to perceive our experience. That's what it is. Do you know what I mean? So, it's a tool that we use to perceive. I'm just thinking of my own experience. It's a tool that I use to perceive my own experience, you know what I mean? So that's how I gauge. This is how it's a tool that we've been able to use to gauge fast and slow. You know, what is fast and slow? You know what I mean? You can get into that conversation. A perception of how something feels, you know. In reality, it's just one big experience. Accumulation of experiences, man, that have got you to this exact point. The concept of time not being real is, I think it's a sexy concept. I think it depends how you want to unpack it, you know what I mean? It depends how you want to unpack it. I mean, most people, time's such a heavy burden for them too. So to put this notion of, you know, this idea of time not being a real thing can be really liberating for them, because I know for the average Joe, you know, they go to work and they're just like looking at the clock all the time, looking at the clock all the time, looking at the clock all the time, you know what I mean? And for me to say that it's, you know, like I said, it's a perception thing of how quick or slow something's going. It's something you use to gauge where you're at in the experience. Do I think that reality exists outside the bounds of time? Yeah, for sure. But we're getting into some big fucking topics now, bro. When you say all you got is the now, I mean, it's also another sexy phrase, and it is true, bro, because, I mean, show me somewhere else other than now. You can't really, can you? I mean, you have a memory that allows you to reflect on experiences, probably more than you should, and you can sit in fairyland and feel the burden of that time, but you can't show me any other moment than the moment that you're currently in. You really can't. You know, I'm sitting here with you. I can't. There is nothing else, is there? You know, I have memories. I can't go there. You know, so like I said, man, I think the whole idea with time and now and the moment and complete and utter presence, no, I think they're all true. I just think that they are very simplistic. I mean, for the average Joe, I think we have to, I'm not talking about you, but I'm saying we have to unpack these statements to a level where there's a practical route for you to be able to achieve what they actually feel like. Because the statement, there is only now, is a beautiful statement, and I completely agree in it. But the amount of people that know that statement and actually experience that statement is a completely different thing. And I'm only saying that because I'm that person also. You know? So the amount of people that say time isn't real, and I completely agree with it, but they actually experience a reality where time doesn't burden on them anymore, there's a big gap there. So I'm all for throwing out these beautiful statements as long as we unpack them to a level that we can try and implement strategies to be able to feel them, to be able to experience them, to be able to feel a life where, you know, you're not checking your clock every 10 seconds. To be able to feel a life where it's like you're fully immersed and you're not feeling the burden of memory and you are actually in the now, and you're not just saying that I'm in the now. Because am I in the now if I'm saying I'm in the now? Not really. You know what I mean? Time will eventually run out. I mean, yeah, you know, I think that's a method of alleviating the burden of time to a degree, is really understanding that your time is limited. You know, your perception of time and what time means to you is limited. I mean, time has implications. If you believe that time isn't real and it's just a perception or a gauge of how you're moving throughout this experience, then time is limited to you. And that's something you have to realize. And that's the evolution of that, is that obviously life is temporary, you know. That's the foundation of that it is a temporary experience that you're having. After, I'm not sure. I'm not going to claim to know something that's beyond what I'm experiencing. You know, I believe that there is more, but you're going to have to wait till I die and it comes to you in a dream to tell you. You know, so I think there's a lot of power in that statement, saying your time's ticking down. I mean, that's a fundamental truth of existence, man. That, you know, I used to say the ticking time bomb, whatever you want to call it, is, out of everything I can fucking guarantee you, out of everything I can guarantee you, and out of everything we can hypothesize about, and out of everything that you could possibly experience in this life, and of all the fucking coulds and woulds and shoulds and combinations of scenarios through different choices that could pan out, what I can say is there's a spot waiting for you in the earth, aka, I mean, your destiny is to die. As fucking sad as that sounds, it's quite beautiful. You know what I mean? It's quite beautiful. I mean, it puts in perspective, really, bro. It puts in perspective. And it gives life an inherent meaning, just by the terminal nature of it. Obviously, that comes with a level of suffering. Because everything you know, touch, feels, piss, shit in this three-dimensional reality, you know, through your senses, leaves. It's temporary. That's the suffering of it. But it also comes with the meaning. Yeah. Personally, I do agree with the existence of the concept of time. Shout out to you, bro. I mean, I'm glad that you brought it up. I mean, I love the topic. I love thinking about it, and what I'm doing is just thinking about it on camera. Yeah. Yeah. No, the more and more I think about it, bro, the more and more I talk about it with friends and with close family members, is like I said, bro, it's about these philosophies that, you know, you've heard about, or you've even said to yourself that are true, and it's about doing our best to unpack them practically, so we can actually experience them. I think that's where the magic of these, you know, mystical sounding philosophies are. I think that's where the magic of them is if we can actually take them and practically apply a practice, per se, that will allow us to be able to experience them. I mean, at least that's my goal with these type of things, you know. Thoughts on the passing of, I know that name, I don't know how to pronounce it. Shout out to you, brother. You know, I think, you know, I didn't really know. I saw it on the internet, bro. And the thing is, it's hard for me to comment because I didn't know who he was until he passed away. I remember someone just showed me a video of him being shot in the car, which was tragic as fuck, man. I mean, you know, anytime, you know, it's heart-wrenching because, you know, it's not some fucking video. It's not some just like some movie shit where some dude's, it's not some movie set. Like, this is a real dude who's just left the planet, sitting in his car, you know, killed. And that was, you know, heart-wrenching to see. I mean, that's all I really got to say, man. I mean, anytime that's a tragedy, bro. Like, that's not some like graceful sleep, never wake up scenario. That's like your life was terminated swiftly. You know, I don't know, man. Like, so it's hard for me to comment because I didn't really know too much about it. You know what I mean? I think those kind of shit happening within the rappers and, you know, within the rap community and shit, it's like, it's part of this, I don't know, man. It just seems like you get involved in that kind of stuff. It's just, that's a byproduct of it sometimes. I mean, people get fucking killed. I mean, that's my honest answer. You know, you get involved in that industry or you go about it. I'm not sure how he went. I'm not talking about specifically him. I'm just saying hypothetically, you go about it in a certain type of way. You say a few things and you can get you in trouble, man, and you can have your life terminated. And it's serious, and it's obviously serious to people. I mean, some of you probably know more than me. I mean, obviously, people take the word seriously. Seriously enough to terminate life like it doesn't mean shit. You know? So, yeah. See, the past shapes us, the future drives us. It's also another beautiful headline statement. I challenge you to unpack it. I challenge you to unpack it a little bit more. Huh? Recently, my grandmother, whom I lived for 17 years, I wasn't with her at that moment. I think she might have killed herself out of boredom. I mean, rest in peace to your grandma, brother. I mean, that's true. You know, I mean, it's, you know, I can only imagine how it feel. You know, I've had the same experience with my grandma, and it was tragic, man. And it was swift. It was a swift death in the sense that, you know, you really felt like what it was to be a human being for a minute there. Like, you know, regardless of all the build up to the death, the moment of death was just like, I never thought that was going to come. So it's a tragic scenario, man. It's hard for me to comment outside of that because I don't really know anything about the specifics of it. But, I mean, all I can say is rest in peace and I hope you're all right. What do I think about the law of attraction? I think what do you mean free will is an illusion? Fill me in. Give me an example of how free will is. You know, free will being an illusion is a bit, you know, like I don't King Koala, shouts to you, brother. You know, I'm not sure, but I mean, what I have experienced on the stream is people coming out and throwing statements out, just one-liners without really backing them up with any sort of practical, you know, scenario that displays it. You know what I mean? So give me an example of everyday life for me, because I'm trying to understand it, because free will seems to be the buzz of the moment right now. Give me an example of how within my life right now, free will is not a real thing, and how it's something that I should care about, and it's something that is this idea that it's something that we should be worrying about. And it's not just some, give me an example. That it's something I should worry about, of trying to understand the idea of free will and how it's affecting me right now, that free will isn't a real thing. Because there's dudes right now beating off, not making their bed, not drinking water, calling their best mate a cunt, not calling their mum, talking about free will. And that's not a place I want to get to. So I want to know the direct impact on my life of this concept that I need to, that coming to terms with the concept of me having free will would change. And what has, shout out to you, Michael. And what has this free will thing done for you, bro? I'm interested. What has it done for you? How has it changed your reality? Fill me in. Is it just knowledge for the sake of it? Like, is there anything to it? I'm not saying that directly you trying to make fun of you. I'm just trying to understand. But sometimes I run into people whose sole goal of acquiring knowledge is just to display their knowledge amongst other people. Some people say that we are products of our environments and past experiences unconsciously influence all our decision making and actions. I think there's truth to that. Does that mean that? So what does free will mean? What does that mean? What is the definition of free will? I mean, I think of course you're a product of your past experiences. I mean, I've got the skin of my great grandfather. Of course, I'm a product of I'm a product of a lot of stuff. Do you know what I mean? Am I bound to aspects of it? Like if my dad bashed my mum, does that mean I see what you mean, like. But I just think when we start, free will is a term what's the definition of it? What does it mean when we say free will? Like, because when people say you don't have free will, I mean, it sounds debilitating. It sounds debilitating. Previous experiences embedded in your memory having an effect on your current actions and your current state, I can understand. But the concept of me not being able to jump off this fucking balcony if I want is hard for me to believe in. The idea of me being able, like, practically, like, seeing you having the choice of being able to smile or not smile, just seems outrageous. Free will would be for those who believe that nothing in their environment affects their decisions. No, I mean, I just think, like, I don't know, man. Like I said, we'd have to define free will. We'd have to define what free will specifically means. Like, oh, you've already said it. Free will, complete choice over your actions and thoughts. I think you do have choice over your actions and thoughts. But I also do think that it's an interesting one, because you do have choice over your actions and your thoughts. But the thoughts and choices you have to make are products of your environment. You see, I'm starting to get confused here. Do you know what I mean? But the fact that I'm getting confused over it, to me, is, what's the point? What's the point? And that's what I want to get at. What is the fucking point? Because right now with the internet and the age of everyone wants to be a fucking intellectual and everyone using the big fucking words, it's like, what's the fucking point? And I'm not saying that you guys are those people. I'm just saying, practically, what's the fucking point? What are you suffering from the most? And is free will, this concept of unpacking free will, going to help you? Is it going to empower you, or is it going to make you a victim? One of you tell me what's the point and the practical implications of understanding the concept of free will. Like, to me, it's simple. Regardless if I'm reacting from my past experiences or not. Like, if I want to smile at you, I'm going to smile. If I want to fucking get sad, I'm going to get sad. If I want to jump off this building right now, I'm going to jump off that building right now. And that's where the empowerment is for me. Is that directly in this moment, regardless of what's happened or what I'm reacting to, I have a certain level of control. Like, do I punch you or do I not punch you? I see what you mean. I see what you mean. Yeah, I see what you mean. And like I said, I'm not claiming to understand it. I'm not claiming to understand this whole concept of free will, you know. But what I do get triggered by immensely, I don't get triggered, but what does kind of get me jazzed up is and I know this from my own experience, my own experience with it, is, you know, I'm talking literally go for a walk. I'm talking literally go for a walk. I mean, complicating something that's so fucking simple. Why are we doing? We already complicate the most simple things and simplify the most complicated things. Why am I going to overcomplicate it so fucking much? Most people can't even control their own emotions, and now we're going to get into it and trying to tell them that they're even more out of control. You know what I mean? They're already out of control. They don't even know how to control anything, and now we're going to come at them trying to even overcomplicate it more and say, look, bro, you're just a product of your fucking previous experience. Here's another excuse to be more out of control and have less control about what you do and how you move and how you affect other people, how you affect yourself. Is that what we want? Why? Because a bunch of us watched a fucking video of the internet of a dude talking about it. Half these motherfuckers can't even make their bed, let alone smile at someone when they walk down this street. Do you know what I mean? Why am I going to think about fucking the concept of free will when I can't even control my emotions when the rice bowl comes out 2 minutes late from the restaurant? Do I need to unpack it to the point of free will when I'm going to watch some intellectual who's been studying it for the last 30 years and claim like I know? Or am I just going to sit there and say, don't get upset about the rice bowl, it's not a big deal. It'll come out when it comes out. You see what I'm trying to say? I'm not trying to get angry about it. I just get passionate about it because I just think that sometimes, like I said, we overcomplicate for the sake of overcomplicating. Sometimes we like to acquire knowledge that's just so far outside of what we're experiencing just so we can sit there and talk shop and feel like we're doing shit. Shouts to all of you. It's been a productive stream. I'm not going to lie. It's been extremely productive. And I'm glad that Non-duality, no point in talking about it. What? What time you finish?
I start at 11.
So what time you finish?
I message you when I start.
Okay, message me when you start. You know what I mean? It's been a great stream. Literally, and I love talking about it because people bring up concepts that I don't have I got no fucking idea about. I get to voice my opinion. You get to type your opinion. I mean, it's amazing. It really is an amazing platform. We'll get into non-duality. I mean, I love the word non-duality. I love the concept of non-duality. In the next one, I mean, unless you want to elaborate on what you mean non-duality, no point in talking about it. What you mean by that real briefly. Otherwise, we'll wrap up. It's time for me to eat breakfast. Alright, no one's responding. Shouts to all of you. It's been a great stream, man. It's been a great stream. I hope you all have a great day. As you said, you can sit here and talk about it when you know nothing, and then you can try and... I see what you mean. Shout out to you, brother. Thanks for the response. I appreciate it. Hey, all I'm trying to say, man, I just want the best for you, eh? I just want the best for you. I just want the best for everybody, man. And sometimes I just think, like, we get involved in stuff that's just so far beyond the scope of what we're experiencing. It's like, the practical nature of it. I just get worried. But shout out to you, brother. I mean, we should talk about it anyway. I mean, I wouldn't want to shut down ideas. If people want to talk about it, we'll talk about it. Yeah, so I'm just careful when we get into topics that are so far out there and people start assuming that they know, and I start assuming that I know. I mean, it gets tricky. It gets tricky. So, shout out to you, brother. Enjoy.